Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where people will devalue you unless you refuse to let them. In every aspect of life, at work, in relationships, in society, there are those who will try to undermine your worth. Some will do it out of jealousy, some out of ignorance, and others simply because they don't see your true potential. Your worth is not defined by external opinions, circumstances, or fleeting successes. It is an intrinsic value that comes from within. The way you perceive yourself shapes the way the world perceives you. If you see yourself as someone who deserves respect, opportunity, and success, others will begin to see you in the same light. However, if you constantly doubt your own value, it becomes easy for people to treat you as less than you truly are. Recognizing your worth is the first step in ensuring that no one can devalue you. Understanding your worth starts with self-awareness. Take a moment to reflect on your strengths, your experiences, and your journey. What have you overcome? What unique qualities do you bring to the table? Too often, people focus on their weaknesses and shortcomings rather than celebrating their strengths. But when you shift your mindset to acknowledge what makes you valuable, you begin to see yourself in a more empowering way. Self-worth is not about arrogance or entitlement, it's about self-respect. It means acknowledging your capabilities while also recognizing areas for growth. It means standing tall in your achievements without feeling the need to downplay them. Society often teaches us to be humble, but there is a fine line between humility and self-deprecation. You can be humble while still recognizing and embracing your own greatness. One of the biggest mistakes people make is basing their worth on validation from others. The moment you allow external approval to determine your value, you give away your power. If your self-worth depends on praise, likes, or recognition, you will always be at the mercy of other people's opinions. True confidence comes from within. It is unshaken by criticism and uninflated by compliments. The more you trust in your own value, the less you will need validation from others. Your worth is not measured by your job title, your bank balance, or your social status. It is measured by the impact you make, the integrity you uphold, and the character you display. People often get caught up in comparing themselves to others, feeling less worthy because they haven't achieved the same level of success. But comparison is a thief of self-worth. Instead of measuring yourself against others, measure yourself against the person you were yesterday. Growth and progress are far more meaningful than any superficial measure of success. The way you allow people to treat you is a direct reflection of how you see yourself. If you tolerate disrespect, it signals to others that you accept being undervalued. But when you know your worth, you set higher standards, you demand respect, not through aggression, but through unwavering confidence. When you carry yourself with self-assurance, people take notice. They recognize that you are not someone to be overlooked or taken for granted. Sometimes recognizing your worth means making difficult choices. It may mean leaving a toxic relationship, walking away from an unfulfilling job, or distancing yourself from people who don't appreciate you. These decisions aren't easy, but they are necessary. When you truly value yourself, you refuse to stay in situations that diminish your confidence and self-esteem. You understand that settling for less than you deserve is a form of self-betrayal. Self-worth is a lifelong journey. It requires daily reinforcement, self-reflection, and continuous growth. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, when external voices try to make you feel small, and when challenges shake your confidence. But in those moments, remind yourself of who you are. Stand firm in your value and never let anyone, including yourself, convince you that you are anything less than extraordinary. Boundaries are essential in every aspect of life: relationships, work, friendships, and even within yourself. They define how others can treat you, how much of yourself you are willing to give, and what you will and won't tolerate. Without clear boundaries, people will take advantage of your kindness, overstep your limits, and drain your energy. Setting boundaries is not about being rude or distant, it's about self-respect. When you have firm boundaries, you communicate to the world that you value yourself and expect others to do the same. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with setting boundaries is the fear of disappointing others. You might worry about being seen as selfish, difficult, or unkind. But consider this, every time you say yes to something you don't want, you are saying no to yourself. You are prioritizing someone else's needs over your own, often at the expense of your mental and emotional well-being. True self-respect means learning to say no without guilt, and understanding that your needs matter just as much as anyone else's. Boundaries are not just about saying no, they are about defining what is acceptable and what isn't. In personal relationships, this might mean setting limits on how much time and energy you give to others. In the workplace, it might mean refusing to take on more work than you can handle or demanding fair treatment. In friendships, it could mean refusing to be the one who always gives without receiving. When you are clear about your limits, you prevent resentment from building and ensure that relationships remain healthy and balanced. It is important to remember that setting boundaries does not mean controlling others, it means taking control of your own actions and responses. You cannot force people to respect you, but you can decide what you will tolerate. If someone continually disrespects your boundaries, it is up to you to enforce consequences. That might mean limiting your interactions with them, speaking up more assertively, or in some cases, cutting ties completely. Boundaries are only effective if they are upheld. Communicating your boundaries clearly is crucial. Many people assume that others will automatically know their limits. But the truth is, people will push as far as you allow them to. Be direct and firm when expressing your boundaries. Instead of making vague statements like, "I don't like when you do that," say, "I need you to stop doing that because it makes me uncomfortable." The clearer you are, the easier it is for others to respect your limits. Some people will test your boundaries, either intentionally or unintentionally. When this happens, do not waver. If you set a boundary and then let it slide, people will assume that your limits are flexible and will continue to push against them. Standing firm may be uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to being accommodating, but in the long run it will create healthier relationships and prevent you from being taken for granted. Setting boundaries also applies to yourself. Sometimes the person who oversteps your limits the most is you. You might push yourself too hard, take on too much, or ignore your own needs in an attempt to meet expectations. Self-boundaries mean recognizing when you need rest, when you need space, and when you need to step back. Respecting your own limits is just as important as expecting others to respect them. The more you practice setting boundaries, the more natural it becomes. At first it may feel uncomfortable, but over time, you will notice a shift. People will begin to respect you more, your relationships will become healthier, and you will feel a greater sense of control over your life. Boundaries are not about keeping people out, they are about ensuring that only those who truly respect you have access to your time, energy, and emotional space. Apologizing when you've made a mistake is a sign of maturity and accountability. But over-apologizing can become a habit that diminishes your confidence and self-worth. Many people say sorry reflexively, even when they have done nothing wrong. They apologize for taking up space, for voicing their opinions, or even for things beyond their control. This constant apologizing sends a subtle message that you believe your presence, thoughts, and actions are an inconvenience to others. Over-apologizing is often rooted in a desire to avoid conflict or to be liked. You may fear that standing your ground will make others uncomfortable, so you soften your words with unnecessary apologies. While this might seem like a harmless habit, it can actually work against you. When you apologize excessively, people may start to perceive you as less confident or even as someone who is unsure of their own worth. Instead of fostering respect, over-apologizing can make others take you less seriously. One of the biggest dangers of over-apologizing is that it can make you responsible for things that are not your fault. If someone bumps into you and you instinctively say sorry, you have taken the blame for something you didn't cause. If a colleague interrupts you in a meeting and you respond with sorry, but I just wanted to say, you are subconsciously diminishing the importance of your own voice. These small moments add up, shaping the way others perceive you and the way you perceive yourself. To break the habit of over-apologizing, start by paying attention to when and why you say sorry. Ask yourself, did I actually do something wrong? If the answer is no, replace the apology with a more confident statement. Instead of saying sorry for taking up your time, try saying thank you for your time. Instead of sorry for speaking up, say, I'd like to add something important. This shift in language reinforces self-assurance rather than self-doubt. Another way to reduce unnecessary apologies is to reframe the way you think about your actions. You don't need to apologize for asking a question, setting a boundary, or expressing your needs. These are not offenses, they are normal and necessary aspects of communication. Instead of feeling guilty for asserting yourself, recognize that you have every right to exist in a space without feeling like a burden. Confidence is often about how you carry yourself, and language plays a big role in that. People who use assertive language rather than apologetic language tend to be taken more seriously. When you speak with confidence, you establish yourself as someone who knows their value. This doesn't mean being rude or dismissive, but rather being firm and self-assured in your words and actions. It's also important to understand that apologizing excessively does not necessarily make people respect you more. In fact, it can have the opposite effect. People may see it as a sign of insecurity, or even as an invitation to take advantage of your willingness to take blame. Respect comes from being honest, direct, and standing by your words without feeling the need to constantly soften them with apologies. Breaking the habit of over-apologizing takes time, but it starts with self-awareness and small changes in your communication. The next time you catch yourself about to say sorry unnecessarily, pause and rephrase your sentence. Over time, you will notice a shift not just in how others respond to you, but in how you see yourself. You will begin to trust your voice, own your presence, and navigate the world with a greater sense of confidence and self-worth. Your personal growth is your responsibility, and no one will care about it as much as you do. If you want to be valued, respected, and recognized, you must continuously invest in yourself. Growth doesn't happen by chance. It requires intentional effort, discipline, and a willingness to evolve. The more you invest in your knowledge, skills, and mindset, the more valuable you become, not just to others, but to yourself. Investing in your growth starts with a mindset shift. Many people remain stagnant because they believe they have already reached their full potential, or because they are afraid of change. But true growth requires you to embrace discomfort. You have to be willing to learn, unlearn, and relearn. This means being open to new perspectives, challenging old habits, and constantly seeking ways to improve. The moment you stop growing is the moment you allow yourself to be left behind. One of the most effective ways to invest in your growth is through continuous learning. This doesn't necessarily mean going back to school or getting another degree. It means making a habit of acquiring new knowledge and skills. Read books, listen to podcasts, take online courses, and stay updated on trends in your field. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more confident and capable you become. Learning should be a lifelong process, not something that stops when formal education ends. Your personal development should also include building skills that set you apart. In today's fast-paced world, adaptability is key. Whether it's improving your communication skills, mastering a new technology, or developing leadership abilities, every skill you acquire increases your value. The more versatile you are, the more opportunities you create for yourself. People who invest in their skills consistently find themselves in better positions than those who rely solely on what they already know. Beyond acquiring skills, investing in your growth also means taking care of your mental and emotional well-being. Success isn't just about what you achieve externally, it's also about who you become internally. Self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and resilience are all crucial for personal and professional success. When you prioritize your mental health, you develop the strength to handle setbacks, criticism, and challenges without losing confidence in yourself. Networking and surrounding yourself with people who inspire you is another powerful way to invest in your growth. You are a reflection of the people you spend the most time with, so choose wisely. Seek out mentors, join communities of like-minded individuals, and engage in conversations that challenge your thinking. The right environment will push you to grow, while the wrong one will keep you stuck. Another aspect of growth is stepping out of your comfort zone. If you only do what feels safe and familiar, you limit your potential. Growth happens when you take risks, try new things, and push past fear. Whether it's speaking in front of an audience, applying for a leadership role, or starting a new venture, the experiences that scare you the most are often the ones that will help you grow the most. Ultimately, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Money, possessions, and opportunities can come and go, but the skills, knowledge, and experiences you gain will stay with you forever. When you commit to growth, you don't just increase your external value, you build confidence, resilience, and the ability to navigate life on your terms. The more you invest in yourself, the less likely you are to be overlooked, undervalued, or underestimated. Your voice is one of the most powerful tools you have. But if you don't use, people will assume you have nothing valuable to say. Speaking up is not just about talking, it's about asserting yourself, sharing your thoughts, and making sure your presence is acknowledged. Too often people stay silent out of fear of rejection, fear of judgment, or fear of being wrong. But when you hold back, you give others the power to define your narrative and make decisions for you. If you want to be valued, you must be willing to speak up. Many people hesitate to speak because they believe their opinions don't matter. They assume that their input isn't significant enough, or that someone else will say what needs to be said. But this kind of thinking leads to invisibility. Your thoughts, experiences, and ideas are unique, and they deserve to be heard. Every time you stay silent when you have something meaningful to contribute, you miss an opportunity to make an impact. Confidence in speaking up doesn't come naturally to everyone, but it is a skill that can be developed. The first step is to trust your own voice. Practice expressing your opinions even in small ways. Start by contributing to conversations with friends, then gradually build up to speaking in larger groups. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Speaking with confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about knowing that what you have to say is valuable. In professional settings, speaking up is crucial for growth and recognition. If you want to be respected in the workplace, you must be willing to advocate for yourself. This means voicing your ideas in meetings, asking for promotions, and addressing concerns when necessary. People who remain silent often get overlooked, while those who confidently express their thoughts gain more opportunities. Your contributions won't always be accepted, but having the courage to speak up will earn you respect. Speaking up also plays a key role in setting boundaries and demanding fair treatment. If someone disrespects you, undermines you, or takes advantage of you, staying silent only enables their behavior. You don't have to be aggressive to stand up for yourself. Assertiveness is about expressing your needs and expectations in a clear, firm manner. When you speak up for yourself, you teach others how to treat you. Many people fear public speaking or confrontation because they worry about being judged. However, worrying about what others think can keep you trapped in silence. The reality is that people respect those who stand by their words and express themselves with conviction. Even if not everyone agrees with you, your willingness to speak up shows confidence, self-assurance, and strength. Over time, this will establish you as someone whose voice matters. Speaking up is not just about defending yourself, it's also about advocating for others. If you see injustice, unfair treatment, or a situation where someone is being silenced, using your voice can make a difference. Many people remain quiet because they assume someone else will take action. But real change happens when individuals step forward. Whether in personal relationships, workplaces, or society, having the courage to speak up can inspire others to do the same. The more you use your voice, the more powerful it becomes. The ability to communicate confidently can open doors, build relationships, and establish your authority in any space. People may not always agree with what you say, but if you remain silent, you allow others to control the conversation. Speaking up is a form of self-respect. It shows the world that you believe in yourself and that your voice is worth hearing. Knowing when to walk away is one of the most powerful decisions you can make in life. Staying in situations where you are undervalued, disrespected, or unfulfilled can drain your confidence, energy, and self-worth. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of self-respect. It means recognizing when something no longer serves you and having the courage to choose better for yourself. No matter how much time or effort you have invested, sometimes the best choice is to let go. Many people struggle with walking away because they fear change. The unknown can feel intimidating, and leaving behind something familiar, even if it's toxic, can seem overwhelming. However, staying in a situation that diminishes you is far worse than facing the uncertainty of something new. Growth often requires stepping into discomfort. Walking away may be difficult in the short term, but in the long run, it creates space for better opportunities, healthier relationships, and greater self-fulfillment. One of the most common reasons people stay in bad situations is the sunk cost fallacy, the belief that because they have already invested time, energy, or resources, they must continue. But time spent in a bad situation is already lost. Holding on will not bring it back. Instead of focusing on what you've put in, focus on what you deserve moving forward. Your future happiness and success should not be sacrificed because of past commitments that no longer serve you. Walking away is essential when you are not being valued. Whether it's a job that doesn't recognize your contributions, a friendship that takes more than it gives, or a relationship where you are not respected, staying in such situations only reinforces the idea that you accept being treated poorly. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. The moment you choose to walk away, you set a standard for how you expect to be valued. Sometimes walking away isn't about other people, it's about you. You might need to walk away from bad habits, limiting beliefs, or even a version of yourself that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. Growth requires shedding what holds you back. If you find yourself stuck in patterns that keep you from reaching your potential, be willing to step away from them. Personal evolution is a constant process of letting go and moving forward. It's important to recognize that walking away doesn't always mean cutting ties abruptly. In some cases, it requires careful planning and gradual steps. Leaving a toxic job, for instance, might involve securing a new opportunity first. Ending a draining relationship might require emotional preparation. The key is to be intentional about your decision, ensuring that when you walk away, you are truly moving towards something better, not just escaping without direction. Walking away also requires emotional strength. Guilt, doubt, and fear may try to convince you to stay, but deep down you know when something is no longer right for you. Trust your intuition. If you constantly feel drained, unappreciated, or stuck, it's a sign that it's time to move on. Choosing yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. You cannot thrive in an environment that stifles your growth, disrespects your worth, or makes you question your value. The more you practice walking away from things that no longer serve you, the easier it becomes to make decisions that align with your happiness and self-respect. Each time you choose to leave behind what isn't right, you gain more confidence in your ability to create a life that reflects your true worth. Walking away is not about giving up, it's about standing up for yourself and making space for what truly deserves you. The people you surround yourself with play a significant role in shaping your mindset, self-esteem, and overall success. Whether you realize it or not, the attitudes, habits, and energy of those closest to you influence your thoughts and actions. If you are constantly around people who belittle you, drain your energy, or discourage your ambitions, it becomes harder to believe in yourself. On the other hand, being surrounded by supportive, driven, and positive individuals can inspire you to grow and reach your full potential. One of the biggest mistakes people make is holding on to relationships that no longer serve them. Just because someone has been in your life for a long time doesn't mean they deserve to stay. If a friendship, partnership, or social circle constantly brings negativity, doubt, or drama, it might be time to reassess those connections. Loyalty should never come at the expense of your well-being. Real connections should uplift you, not make you feel small. The right people challenge you in a way that encourages growth. They don't just agree with everything you say or let you stay stagnant, they push you to be better. These are the friends who call you out when you're making excuses, the mentors who inspire you to level up, and the colleagues who recognize your potential and encourage you to take risks. Growth happens when you surround yourself with people who expect greatness from you, not those who are content with mediocrity. It's important to evaluate the energy that people bring into your life. Some people will constantly drain you with their negativity, gossip, or self-doubt, while others will fill you with motivation, wisdom, and positivity. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with certain people. Do you feel inspired and uplifted, or do you feel exhausted and discouraged? The people who genuinely care about your success will leave you feeling empowered, not depleted. Building a strong support system isn't just about cutting out negative influences, it's also about actively seeking out those who align with your values and aspirations. Look for mentors, role models, and peers who embody the kind of success and mindset you strive for. Join communities, attend networking events, and engage with people who share your vision. The more you surround yourself with individuals who reflect the future you want, the more naturally you will start moving in that direction. Not everyone will understand your journey, and that's okay. Some people will resist your growth because it challenges their own comfort zones. They may try to hold you back, dismiss your ambitions, or make you feel guilty for wanting more. Do not let their limitations become yours. Surrounding yourself with the right people often means distancing yourself from those who no longer align with where you are headed. Supportive people not only celebrate your successes but also stand by you during your struggles. Life is full of ups and downs, and having the right people around you can make all the difference. When you surround yourself with those who truly care, You will never have to face challenges alone. They will remind you of your strength, offer guidance when needed, and help you navigate difficult situations with clarity and resilience. The more intentional you are about the company you keep, the more control you have over the energy in your life. You deserve to be around people who see your value, encourage your dreams, and help you grow into the best version of yourself. When you surround yourself with the right people, you set yourself up for success, fulfillment, and a life that reflects your true worth. Seeking validation from others can be a difficult habit to break, but it is one of the most important steps toward true self-confidence. When you constantly look for approval from friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers, you give them power over your self-worth. Instead of trusting yourself, you rely on external opinions to feel good about who you are. The problem with this is that validation from others is never guaranteed, and the more you chase it, the more dependent you become on outside approval. The need for validation often starts early in life. Many people grow up being rewarded for meeting expectations set by others, whether it's getting good grades, behaving a certain way, or fitting into societal norms. Over time, this creates a habit of seeking approval to feel worthy. However, as you get older, relying on validation can become a trap. If you always wait for someone else to confirm that you are good enough, you will never feel truly secure in yourself. One of the biggest dangers of seeking validation is that it can make you compromise who you are. You might find yourself making decisions based on what others think rather than what truly makes you happy. You may suppress your true opinions, change your personality to fit in, or pursue goals that don't actually fulfill you just to gain approval. Living this way can leave you feeling empty because you are not being authentic to yourself. Social media has made validation seeking even more common. Many people measure their worth based on likes, comments, or followers, believing that external recognition determines their value. While appreciation from others can feel good, it should not define your self-esteem. Social media is often a highlight reel, not an accurate reflection of reality. If you rely on online validation, you risk feeling unworthy the moment the likes and compliments stop coming. To break free from the need for validation, you must learn to trust yourself. This means making decisions based on your own values, beliefs, and desires, rather than constantly wondering what others will think. Confidence comes from within, and the more you rely on your own judgment, the stronger it becomes. Instead of asking, will people approve of this? Start asking, does this align with who I am and what I want? Another way to stop seeking validation is to accept that not everyone will agree with or support you, and that's okay. No matter what you do, there will always be people who criticize, judge, or misunderstand you. Trying to please everyone is exhausting and impossible. The moment you stop worrying about gaining approval from others, you free yourself to live in a way that feels right for you. Self-acceptance is the ultimate antidote to validation seeking. When you fully accept yourself, flaws and all, you no longer need constant reassurance from others. You understand that your worth is not based on someone else's approval, but on how you see and value yourself. This doesn't mean you won't appreciate positive feedback, but it does mean that your confidence won't depend on it. When you stop seeking validation, you take control of your life. You start making choices that reflect your true desires, set boundaries that protect your peace, and embrace your individuality without fear of judgment. The moment you realize that you don't need anyone else's permission to be yourself is the moment you step into your true power. One of the biggest ways people get devalued is by not being compensated fairly for their time, skills, and contributions. Whether in the workplace, in business, or even in personal arrangements, if you don't stand up for your worth, people will take advantage of you. Many individuals accept less than they deserve because they fear asking for more, worry about rejection, or have been conditioned to believe they should be grateful for whatever they receive. However, demanding fair compensation is not about being greedy, it's about recognizing your value and ensuring you are treated with respect. Compensation is not just about money, it reflects the level of appreciation and recognition you receive for your work. If you allow yourself to be underpaid or undervalued, it sets a precedent that your time and effort are not worth much. This can lead to a cycle where you constantly work hard but never see the rewards you deserve. Employers, clients, and even personal acquaintances will often offer the lowest possible amount unless you advocate for yourself. One of the main reasons people hesitate to demand fair compensation is fear of rejection, fear of seeming ungrateful, or fear of losing opportunities. But in reality, those who negotiate and assert their worth tend to gain more respect. Many companies and clients expect people to negotiate, and those who confidently ask for fair pay are often the ones who receive it. If you don't speak up, you might be leaving money and opportunities on the table. To effectively demand fair compensation, you must first understand your worth, research industry standards, evaluate your skill set, and recognize the unique value you bring. Knowing your worth gives you the confidence to negotiate without hesitation. When you have data and evidence to back up your request, it becomes much harder for others to dismiss or underpay you. Information is power, and the more informed you are, the stronger your position. Another crucial aspect of demanding fair compensation is learning to say no. If someone is unwilling to pay you what you deserve, you must be prepared to walk away. Too often, people accept low offers because they fear missing out, but undervaluing yourself can lead to long-term financial struggles and resentment. Saying no to unfair compensation sends a clear message that you value yourself and won't settle for less than you deserve. It's also important to be aware of the subtle ways compensation can be manipulated. Some employers or clients may try to justify lower pay with promises of exposure, experience, or future opportunities. While growth and learning are valuable, they should never replace fair compensation. If your work adds value to someone else's business or success, you deserve to be compensated accordingly. Exposure doesn't pay bills, and promises of future rewards should never come at the cost of fair treatment today. Demanding fair compensation is especially important for those who come from backgrounds where negotiation and self-advocacy were not encouraged. Many people are taught to be humble, not to talk about money, or to simply be grateful for what they receive. While gratitude is important, it should not come at the expense of fairness. You can be appreciative while still insisting on what you are rightfully owed. Knowing your worth and demanding fair treatment is a form of self-respect. When you demand fair compensation, you set a standard not just for yourself, but for others in your field or community. You contribute to a culture where people are paid fairly for their efforts and are not exploited. The more individuals who stand up for their worth, the harder it becomes for unfair practices to continue. Advocating for yourself is not just about money, it's about creating a future where value is recognized, respect is given, and no one is taken for granted. Confidence is one of the most powerful traits a person can have. It influences how people perceive you, how they treat you, and even how you see yourself. When you carry yourself with confidence, you send a clear message that you know your worth and that you refuse to be overlooked or underestimated. Confidence isn't about arrogance or pretending to be something you're not. It's about standing firmly in your value and presenting yourself with assurance. One of the first steps to carrying yourself with confidence is mastering your body language. The way you walk, stand, and make eye contact speaks volumes before you even say a word. Slouching, avoiding eye contact, or fidgeting can make you seem unsure of yourself, while standing tall, making direct eye contact, and moving with purpose exudes confidence. When you physically present yourself as strong and self-assured, people take notice and treat you with more respect. Your voice is another crucial aspect of confidence. Speaking too softly, hesitating, or constantly apologizing can make you appear unsure of yourself, even if what you're saying is valuable. A confident person speaks clearly and with conviction. This doesn't mean being the loudest in the room. It means speaking with certainty, being direct in your communication, and believing in the words you say. The more confidently you express yourself, the more seriously people will take you. Confidence is also about how you handle challenges and setbacks. Everyone faces difficulties, but the way you react to them determines how others perceive you. A confident person doesn't crumble under pressure or let failures define them. Instead, they maintain their composure, learn from their mistakes, and keep moving forward. People respect those who can navigate challenges with a sense of control and resilience. Another key to carrying yourself with confidence is knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. When you exude confidence, people are less likely to try to take advantage of you or undermine you. This applies to every aspect of life: relationships, career opportunities, and social interactions. If you believe in yourself and your abilities, others will too. Confidence commands respect and sets a standard for how others should treat you. Confidence is not just about external presentation, it starts internally. Your mindset plays a significant role in how you carry yourself. If you constantly doubt yourself or focus on your flaws, it will show in your demeanor. To build true confidence, you must develop self-belief. This means reminding yourself of your strengths, celebrating your achievements, and silencing the inner voice that tells you you're not enough. When you cultivate a strong inner sense of self-worth, it naturally radiates outward. It's important to remember that confidence is a habit, not just a personality trait. Some people are naturally more confident than others, but it is something that can be developed through practice. The more you push yourself out of your comfort zone, take on new challenges, and assert yourself, the more confident you become. Every time you act confidently, even if you don't feel it at first, you reinforce the belief that you are capable and deserving. When you carry yourself with confidence, you attract better opportunities, stronger connections, and greater respect. People gravitate toward those who believe in themselves because confidence is contagious. The way you carry yourself influences not only how others see you, but also how you see yourself. The more you embrace confidence, the more you step into your full potential, creating a life where you are valued, respected, and never overlooked.